A very good friend of mine, I am Argentinian originally, and a very good friend of mine says that you have to think of the word tax as synonym of less. So when we say, tax to food, there will be less food. Tax to income, there will be less income, and that's a very good way of thinking of taxes. So the more it's like a punishment to something productive. So if you want less of something, put a tax, and if you want almost barely nothing, put very high taxes, and you will have almost nothing of that product. But in any case, and given that Anders and Tomasz, I think, dealt very well with the issue of taxes, I will be talking about taxes, but I wanted to give it to talk about it in a more general framework regarding the value of competition. As I told you in the introduction, this roadshow is about values, and I really think that competition, economic competition, is a social value. It's something that is very positive both for the individual and for the society. And I want to talk a few minutes with you about that. And I will talk also about taxes in the meantime, I hope. Before that, by the way, I think there will be some people sympathetic to that gentleman there. I am organizing in Argentina in August an economics conference, an Austrian economics conference. That's our website, and if you are interested to come to Argentina, have very good beef and very good wine, without European taxes, this is a great opportunity. There's all the information. We are capitalists, so we are not. We are always for propaganda. As I told you, I think that economic competition is very good. Unfortunately, it seems many times that my opinion is not it's not very widely shared in society. And these are some instances in which I consider that competition is being demonized. This is the case, of taxi drivers against Uber, Cabify, bicycles, whatever, whatever is a threat to their cartel, they will be there, complaining about it. These are French farmers. If you want to have a good protest, go to France. There's always something going on there. These are French farmers. We'll talk about this later, and this will definitely have to do with taxes. They took cattle, to the streets of Paris. We'll see why. These are people, complaining about Airbnb. They even say that the baby Jesus wouldn't get. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to get an Airbnb and they put name Baby Jesus. Yeah, I wouldn't rent my room, but I don't think Airbnb wouldn't rent a room to Baby Jesus. Mr. Trump, he's unfortunately becoming, a voice against competition. This is him signing, the infamous steel tariff, to the Chinese product. This is very bad. He already took the U.S. out from the Trans-Pacific Agreement, and these are very bad signs. In any way, I think you know this lady. This is Angela. You don't know her. Stella Angelova? No, you don't know her. Okay. I thought she was.
I have her phone number.
Thank you.
Could you share it?
Well, in any case, just one brief comment about values. Because, for instance, when we say that a woman is beautiful, we say that because we believe that she participates in one way or the other from the value of beauty. That's why we. I think that's how I see the interaction between values and the real world. In a nutshell. And when we say that something is competitive, I think what we are saying at least is that something, that good, that service, whatever, it participates from three values as I see it. Of course, it participates from economics, from the sound economy, from good economics. It participates from the human capacity for self-improvement, and it also participates from cooperation. And this is something we tend to forget about competition. And I'll try to talk about these three things in what follows. The best example I could come up, to talk about competition is football, because it's one of the most important things in life. No, I'm not going to come here and talk about how prices are going down. That's very important, but football is even more important. And the point I want to make is that in sports in general and in football in particular, we are very open to embrace competition. We like competition. We like things like the UEFA Champions League, the World Cup that is coming, and I hope that finally Argentina can win it. It's tough. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they get out. They take Germany out, in the next 50 days. But if not, we won't have any chance. But in any case, we embrace competition. We like it, and football is a good way to see all the positive things that competition brings to whatever environment where it's applied. This guy there, that one with the Argentinian t-shirt, that is, I hope some of you, they are very young, but I hope some of you know him. That's Diego Maradona. That picture was taken in the World Cup of Italy 1990. He was 30 years old at that time. 4 years before in Mexico, when we were world champions, you weren't even born, but I was, and I was very happy. He scored this magnificent goal. We have to watch it. We should be watching this, until 5 p.m. at least. Glorious. However, after, just 4 years after scoring that magnificent goal, in 1990 he was considered a veteran, almost on the brink of retirement. The FIFA official movie of the World Cup refers to Maradona as Argentina's old master. And that was the case. This was, early 90s. Footballers played until 30, 31, 32. It was very typical that at that age they retired. But things started changing, and now the scenario has completely transformed, and we have all of these guys, some of, I think this one. Well, all of these guys are more than 30 years old. That one is 40 even. And they are at the top of their game. Why? Because European clubs want to get the best players, and once they get them, they try to take them the best as they can. And this has, of course, they have introduced lots of technology, the best of medicine, nutrition, they take care of everything that footballers they eat. So all of this has risen the level a lot, because they want to compete. Barcelona wants Messi to live forever. If they could, they put it in formal, and they will have him like for 200 years. Real Madrid with Ronaldo, the same. And all this has improved not only the lifespan of the footballers, but also this competitive environment has improved of course, the physical shape of all these guys, and also their pockets, because really a mediocre player of a mediocre team in Spain makes more money than the poor Maradona made in the 80s and 90s, because now everything is better thanks to that we have more competition involved. But not only that, competition also helps us to sort things out in a way, because every football player, every professional football player would like to be the star of Barcelona or the star of Real Madrid. But these are the guys who are the stars. Why? I think because they overcome a double competitive pressure. On the one hand, they help their teams, they definitely do, to defeat teams basically almost always, because they really win almost all the games. And also, they are really like the best players, and they showed it every game. And they do much more than the other stars of the other teams. There are many players who would like to be in the shoes of Messi or Cristiano or Neymar, but they can't, because really these guys are the best, and through competition we can sort that out. And not only that, for instance, this picture is magnificent for me, because of course it shows one of two of the best players, contemporary. Of course, this one is the best. The other thing is that in this picture, Cristiano and Messi, they are not only competing, they are fiercely competing, but they are also cooperating. The competition they have between each other forces them to give their best and to become their best. It's like, it's like trees in the forest. They have to go as high as they can in order to get the light and to get the air and to get the space they need to grow. And that is something we forget about competition. Competition is not only competition, but it's also cooperation. You become the best you can be when you compete. And that is something we have to really keep in mind. And we'll go back to that in a few minutes. But competition also has some enemies. And we were talking about price. This is unfortunately one of the biggest enemies competition has now. The European Union and Mercosur, which is a trade agreement of certain South American countries, Argentina included, is trying to negotiate a free trade agreement. Free trade agreements have certain problems, I would say, but you know, they are much better than non-trade, and I tend to favor them because of that. However, according to Mr. Macron, the problem is that South America is thousands of kilometers away. Yeah, I mean, we all know that, and that we do things differently. Yes, that's true. That's why, firstly, that's why you trade and why you compete. And you don't usually go to buy things, you know, from people who do exactly the same that you do. You go for people that do things differently. And this, of course, protectionism is a tax on you. It's not a tax on the producers. I mean, if, for instance, Argentinian beef, which is quite good, is heavily taxed in the European Union, it's not a tax on our producers. It's a tax on you. You either won't be able to buy it, or you will buy it very much more expensive. With protectionism, you do to yourself what your enemies would do in times of war. You know, you close your own ports to commerce, so to speak. The Macron mentality, unfortunately, and I won't go very deep in this. We can discuss it later if you want. Comes with this. The European Union has been a magnificent idea. I really support it. But I think trade should be even freer than what the European Union is doing now. The single market mentality, it's a problem, because it's this idea that in order to trade, we have to do, all of us have to do the same. So we have to have the same regulation, and that is problematic. The liberal faction of Brexit, which I do not favor, but they had a very good point. They wanted mutual recognition between countries. So you produce whatever, a car here in Bulgaria, and you want to sell it to Portugal, and the Portuguese just, you know, recognize that how you produce cars is fine, and that's it. And it's not that from Bulgaria to Portugal and from Sweden to Malta, you have to do all the same. Everything has to be the same. And that is an important point, and that also is related with regulations, of course, and also with taxes. Countries like Ireland are from time to time accused of being like the worst because they have lower taxes, and the next enemy is probably going to be Estonia. In any case, what would happen if you tell me, okay, you could tell me, okay, what you say is okay, is fine, maybe competition is good, but I don't want to compete. I don't want, you know, I don't care about competition. And this has happened in a roadshow event many years ago. We had a very good speaker, Terry Anker. He's an American entrepreneur. He gave a very interesting speech about competition at a university in Thessaloniki. And one professor raised his hand at the Q&A session and said, "We the Greek, we don't want." I think he knows all the Greek people because he spoke about all, in the name of all the Greek. But he said, "We the Greek, we don't want to compete. We like, the good life. We want to be relaxed." And Terry replied in a very intelligent way. He said, "Okay, it's fine. If you don't want to compete, that's fine. But you cannot forbid me to compete with you. And of course, that will create you a very big problem." But the other thing, and I really think in that Terry hit the nail in the head, is that that's a very important issue. Because how do we do to escape competition? And the only way we can do it is with the use of violence. That's the only way. We have when governments or companies want to escape competition, we become this guy, and that's how we look, because this is what will be applied. This is what will be applied upon us. From the moment I cannot set what are your goals, what are your desires, what you want to do with your life, what are your preferences, there will be necessarily competition. Competition is inescapable. The only way for companies and for countries, so to speak, governments, to avoid competition, to escape competition, is to use coercion. If, I don't know, the train company, the national train company, wants to avoid competition, what they have to do is to threat the use of coercion on potential competitors and dissatisfied clients that are trying to find alternatives. That's the only way. There's no other way. And they do it. Sometimes they do it themselves, suing other companies. That's also a very big problem because, big companies have the shoulders necessary to endure a very long judicial process, while small companies, particularly startups, cannot do that. And many of them disappear, and because of these things. And sometimes they do it directly in association with different governments. And that's a very big problem. So, 4 last things regarding competition. The first one is that competition helps us become the best version of ourselves. And that's very positive. And that's a very positive thing for a society and for us as individuals. If we want to escape competition, the only possible, in a free society, the only possible way to escape competition is the use of violence. And that's, at least up to me, using violence is always a very bad idea. Third, when you eliminate competition from the picture, what you create is a complete separation between performance and reward, between what you do and what you get. The providers of X services, of whatever service, is not thinking anymore about how to give you the cheapest and best product they can give you, but they are thinking, okay, how can I stop my foreign competitors to enter the market via tariffs, or which bureaucrat I have to contact in order to destroy my competition, and that is very bad for all of us. And last but not least, this comes from an old movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a magnificent movie from Robert De Niro named A Bronx Tale. If you haven't really watched it, it's magnificent. This one was one of the main characters, and his motto was, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And if what I said is correct, and competition helps us improve, rise, when we eliminate competition, a society and us as individuals will tend to mediocrity. And that's a real tragedy, at least up to me. Thank you very much for your attention.